I bet you didn't know that in freezing conditions you can lose up to 90% of your body heat through your head and neck alone. Imagine standing in the middle of a frozen forest at night, the air sharp enough to cut, and every breath feels like it steals warmth from your lungs. The wind whispers threats over the ridge, and the snow crunches underfoot, reminding you that out here nature doesn't negotiate. Stay tuned and subscribe for more survival secrets. New videos every week. For centuries, humans have faced these same brutal conditions, armed with little more than instinct, observation, and ingenuity. Today, we're diving into the ancient and medieval survival techniques that shaped human endurance, and showing you how you can apply these lessons even in modern scenarios. But before we get started, if you're as fascinated by history, survival, and tactical ingenuity as we are, take a moment to hit that like button, share this video with your fellow enthusiasts, leave a comment about the survival skill that intrigues you most, and make sure to subscribe to Warcraft Survival, so you never miss an adventure rooted in history. Choosing your ground. The hidden science of site selection. Long before modern tents and stoves, survivalists understood one critical fact. Location can be the difference between life and death. In historical battles, medieval campaigns, and even early exploration, commanders and travellers recognized the importance of terrain. Cold air behaves like water, sliding down slopes and pooling in valleys. Moist areas, such as riverbeds, were particularly treacherous because, dampness accelerates heat loss dramatically. And wind, too, is a silent killer, stripping warmth through convection faster than you can react. Survival manuals from the past hint at what modern science confirms. The safest place is the so-called thermal belt, that middle third of a slope where moisture is minimized and wind is tempered. Choosing your ground was never guesswork. It was all about observation and understanding the natural forces at play. Using natural materials as tools, insulation and shelter, really. History teaches that survival is not about brute force, but rather intelligent use of resources. Stone, wood, and plant matter were not just building materials, they were, in fact, energy storage and insulation systems. Large rocks, especially those dense volcanic stones, they absorb heat from the sun all day long, and then, they release it slowly throughout the night. Medieval travellers, often without even realizing it, made use of these principles, setting up their camps near sun-warmed rocks, or even building their simple shelters right up against them. The ground itself is, honestly, one of the biggest thieves of heat. Bare earth just pulls body warmth away incredibly quickly. The answer, which folks in medieval and even earlier times figured out, was all about layering. Pine needles, leaves, bark and ferns. They'd pile these up to make a kind of natural mattress, trapping what's called dead air and forming a barrier between themselves and the freezing earth. Dead air, as it turns out, is nature's most efficient insulator, and, historical accounts from cold weather campaigns show that soldiers who mastered the art of bedding materials survived much longer than those who did not. Structural engineering without modern tools, it's quite something. You don't actually need nails or rope to build a solid shelter, and ancient humans, of course, didn't have those things. Standing timber, especially from dead trees, gives you rigidity, without the issues you get from green wood, which bends, gives off a strong smell, and leaves obvious marks. By anchoring timber against rock faces and leaning smaller branches to form ribs at just the right angles, early survivalists managed to create shelters that were both durable and able to withstand the weather. Spacing and geometry really mattered. You see, gaps allowed cold air in, while overcompression of insulation actually conducted heat outward. Every element, from the angle of each branch to the thickness of the bedding, was optimized over time, through trial, careful observation, and, of course, inherited knowledge. These same principles are well echoed in modern bushcraft manuals and can be replicated today using minimal equipment and a keen awareness of natural physics. Harnessing radiant heat. Now that's the forgotten art. Fires were precious, and smoke could be rather dangerous. In military history and, clandestine survival scenarios, flames might give away positions to enemies or predators. The solution was radiant energy transfer, heating dense stones in a fire and then transporting them to a sheltered area provided long-lasting warmth, all without a visible flame. Soil coverage regulated the release of heat-spreading warmth gradually through the night. Ancient and medieval peoples may not have understood thermodynamics in modern terms, but they knew that rocks stored energy and released it steadily. The ability to create invisible heat was as important as knowing when and where to start a fire, and it remains a lesson every survivalist should understand. Ventilation, airflow, and safety. A completely sealed shelter is a death trap. Ancient accounts repeatedly warn that carbon dioxide buildup kills silently. The solution, refined over centuries, is passive ventilation. Low intake vents allow dense cold air to enter, while higher outlets let warm air escape. Heat circulates naturally, powered by the body maintaining a stable interior without drafts. This understanding of air movement, combined with insulation and radiant heating, created a microclimate capable of sustaining life in extreme cold. Survival is as much about invisibility as endurance. Straight lines and uniform shapes give away human presence instantly. History is full of lessons on blending into terrain broken silhouettes, feathered edges, and random layering of natural debris erased evidence of shelter, leaving attackers, predators, or curious eyes with nothing to find. This principle not only ensured safety, but also preserved the environment, a lesson that, modern survivalists continue to honour. Survival is not about defying nature. It is about understanding and cooperating with it. Every branch leaned, every stone heated, every vent calculated is an application of forces invisible to the casual eye. Medieval and early explorers didn't have textbooks, but they had careful observation, patience, and experience. Learning these principles allows you not only to survive, but to dominate your environment intelligently. Knowledge is, without a doubt, the ultimate survival tool. So, as you prepare for your own adventures, remember the lessons of history. Apply the science hidden in centuries of practice, master the environment instead of fighting it, and you'll transform survival into control. Don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow enthusiasts, Leave your comments below on which technique fascinates you most, and subscribe to Warcraft Survival for more in-depth guides where history meets practical survival.